This video has been inspired actually by a request from one of the users of Adaptable or AG Grid extension. And what they wanted to do was to display a series of buttons above their AG Grid that would run queries against the data in the grid. But they also wanted it so that as they added or deleted queries, the buttons themselves will get added and deleted automatically. We gave them an answer to this. In fact, as you can see, we built a little demo here in our docs explaining how it can be done. But we thought it might be an interesting topic for a video because the solution contains many elements in Adaptable, as we'll see. We use Adaptable QL or query language, we provide expressions, we run a grid filter, we create named queries, we create a custom toolbar, provide it with buttons, we supply some predefined config, we configure some adaptable options, and we also listen to some adaptable events, particularly state listening. So probably the first thing to do is let's just run the demo, go into full screen so we can see what we've done. And as you can see in this demo, we've got these three buttons, JavaScript, Top Frameworks and Big Stars. They are three queries that we provided to Adaptable. We've also got the grid filter running so you can actually see what happens when we click a button. And very simply, we run that query. I'll explain later why we've used the query keyword and not the actual underlying expression in a moment. So that's the JavaScript query. This is one which is called Top Frameworks. This is one called Big Stars, and this is one where we clear the filter. So as we can see, we've created these three very simple queries here. But let's create a new one. So for instance, let's make it very simple. Let's say where issue change is greater than 0, and we will call it new issues. So there's our query. New issues, issue change is greater than 0. That adds a new button. And when I run it, we see we only get positive queries. One of the reasons why we use the query keyword is because it means, in fact, that if the query changes, we've got that level of indirection. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go back to Top Frameworks, and this time let's edit the query. So currently it says name is in React Angular Vue. So let's edit that, and let's add a couple more. So I don't know, let's add, say, solid stencil. So now we've got a new query, and now as soon as I finish that query, you can see that the query here is updated, but more importantly, the grid got updated in real time because we're running the query of Top Frameworks. So the grid filter is simply running the Top Frameworks query, and then it gets evaluated, obviously, each time it runs as the query itself changes. So now let's look at the code to see how we did this. Let's go show code. So the first thing to see is that in Dashboard Options, we provide a custom toolbar called Query Toolbar. And in fact, we don't provide any buttons at all. We just give it an empty array. But in the dashboard, we provide the two module buttons that we've seen so far, named query and settings. And we provide two pinned toolbars. We provide the query toolbar, that's this one. And as I said, we've also provided the grid filter just to allow us to see what's happening. Also in Predefined Config, we supply the three queries themselves. So this is where we've written the JavaScript query with the Boolean expression language is JavaScript, the initial Top Frameworks query, which we've since edited and updated, which had these three, and then Big Stars, where GitHub stars was greater than 50,000. And then most of the work actually happens in the onAdaptable ready event. This is the event that is called when Adaptable is ready, as the name implies. And what we do here is first we provided a function called create named query toolbar buttons. We get hold of the query toolbar using Adaptable's API. And then we also use the API to get hold of all the current named queries. And then we loop through them. And then for each query, we create a button. The button has a label of the name of the query. And on click, we set the grid filter expression for Adaptable to be an expression which, as I say, uses the query keyword to allow it to be kind of more easily updatable and to have that level of kind of abstraction between the expression and the actual underlying query. We provide a style for the button, and then we also add this clear button here. That's the one you see here with a slightly different style. And then we add all the buttons to the toolbar. We refresh the dashboard, and then we reapply grid filtering. So then in the Adaptable Ready, we call this function once. And then this is the last thing we do, is we also listen to the Adaptable State Changed event. This is the event that runs anytime any state changes in Adaptable. And we say if the thing that changed is to do with named query, then let's call it again. And that's why every time we added a button, or indeed, so if I now delete big stars, if I go to big stars and I delete, this would have got rerun, it would have recreated the toolbar, and that's why the button is no longer there. So there we are, an example that shows how you can use adaptable options, in this case dashboard options, predefined config, the Adaptable Ready event, and the Adaptable State Changed event to, as well as Adaptable QL or query language, to provide a very, very easy but powerful mechanism to allow users to create their own queries and then to run them automatically against their grid. We hope that was interesting. If you've got any questions, would like to know more about any of the things we've shown in this video, please get in touch and we'd be delighted to provide you with your own demo, or indeed a free trial license. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching.